It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way that things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, K-Man. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing this beautiful Friday morning? Hope you guys are doing well. Wow, we got some breaking news for you, but let me first sort out all of the show links so that everyone can log on with me. Yes, wow, what a morning. Give me 1 second, honey child. All right, I think you can hear me now. Forgot to plug in the microphone. All right. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Are we good now? Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to sort out a few little things in the background. So let's sit back and enjoy some music while I do that.
I hear the people talking talking about. This world's gone crazy, and I'm trying to find a way out. Nobody knows where we're going, or if we're going at all. Nobody cares if we stand, if we have nowhere to fall. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. So many questions answered without an answer to tell. Too many things on my mind for anything to go well. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. Oh, it's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out.
All right, all right. Good morning, K-Man. Happy Thursday, or Friday part 1, as some of you like to say. What a day. It's early in the morning in the Cayman Islands, 7:44 a.m. And we've got some breaking news for you guys. In case you're just waking up and you have no idea what's happening in the world around you, former Prince Andrew this morning has been arrested. This is shocking, but at the same time, a welcome development, according to victims of the whole debacle related to Jeffrey Epstein. So yes, people are demanding accountability all over the world. And this is, quite frankly, almost the highest level of accountability that you can get, except for President Trump, of course. Let's be real, right? And no one believes that the United States of America under this administration are prepared to do anything about President Trump, no matter what evidence they have. We don't believe that that's going to happen. I do hope that the victims get justice at all levels. But do I believe that under this current administration, that's possible in the US? No, I don't. However, I know this morning that victims all over the world are looking at this latest development, and no doubt they are saying to themselves, thank God, right? There can be some accountability regardless of who you are. Now, justice has been slow to come, quite frankly. And I can see where some people were probably starting to give up hope, and they were wondering and watching and waiting. in terms of what was going to happen. And, I am a little bit surprised that the UK has been more proactive. There was a time when I believed anyone would be held accountable, even in the US. I no longer believe that. And unfortunately, my belief system has been tested, and it shows you how the entire system can certainly be undermined, really, because of one individual being supported by other people who just sit back and do nothing, right? But I'm a little bit surprised this morning. I am surprised that the US has, the UK, my apologies, has stood up and took this step. Now, to be fair, his mother, I think she knew what was coming, honey child. She took some steps earlier to, move him out of a position of power where he was not an active royal. And then it continued to go from there. So now that he has been arrested, let me adjust my camera. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Still on vacation, by the way. Working vacation. But now that he has actually been arrested, this is another level, right? His brother recently really stripped him further of his title. He can no longer be referred to as Prince Andrew. And he had to revert back to his name. He had to give up all sorts of property access that he had. Those were public properties, obviously, under the royal family. Well, I should say owned by the royal family, because they do own their own. And yeah, so all of that has transpired. And now finally, this morning, on his 66th birthday, what a day they chose to go and arrest him. I love it. I absolutely love it. Happy birthday, former Prince Andrew. 66th birthday this morning. He was taken into custody at the Sandringham estate on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and what is seen as a dramatic turn in this long-running scandal over his ties to the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So officers arrived quite early this morning at Wood Farm, which is the cottage there at that estate where he's been living since losing his royal titles. They arrived shortly after 8 a.m. local time in the UK. And it was already expected to be a pretty subdued 66th birthday, because, to be honest, even one of his daughters has publicly stated that she was cutting ties with him, as more and more evidence became available with the trove of documents that were most recently released. And so the continued release of those documents even showed him, there was a photo, as you guys will remember, of a person kind of standing. He was leaning over a woman that looks like she was somehow incapacitated on the floor. And more and more, it looks like his story, which he's always maintained his innocence, is certainly becoming questionable at best. So all media outlets across the globe this morning are blowing up with the story. The BBC, Sky News. Like, if you are in media and you're not carrying the story already this morning, you might want to check your staff. tell them they're going to get what the staff in the U.S. got the other day. 300 plus people terminated under Jeff Bezos' new paper because a lot of his connections with Trump. He's letting a lot of people go from that newspaper. Let me tell you which newspaper it is. I think is it the Washington Post? I can't remember. Yep, the Washington Post. So he has let go just a week ago, over 300 employees amid what he say is restructuring. And it's quite an interesting story. We'll talk about that perhaps another day. So this is our breaking news this morning. Former Prince Andrew arrested on suspicion of, let me just tell you what the formal charge is: misconduct in public office. And it's actually quite a serious offense in the UK, because it looks like it could get you up to a life sentence in prison. So we will continue to follow this story. The Thames Valley Police did not name him, as they apparently they don't. But of course, everybody knows that it was him, and all the local media. They've got pictures of the police at his estate, and so there you have it. Quite shocking, to be honest. So I want to remind our listeners that today, because we are remotely having the show, that we are actually we are engaged in. You can call into the program still, but you have to call via the WhatsApp number. So we've got a caller this morning. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Yes, sir. I have no idea. How can I help? You're live on radio. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Which industry are we referring to? Oh, oh wow. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, my dear. Some people are saying that they can't hear you. When you say you can't hear him, I do need to know where you can't hear him, because that's helpful. Is that social media, or is that on? Okay, just speak again for me, caller.
Yeah. So I was saying it's a very ugly and real business, and there's a lot of money involved. A lot of money. That's why it continues. Money. There was actually a movie made about this woman. It starred Ashley Judd as her part, and Ashley Judd did it for free. And it was never actually shown in theaters or streamed on Netflix or anything. It's very disturbing. It's
Mm-hmm.
meant for people in psychiatrists and
Mm-hmm.
people in law enforcement and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Well, Roy, do you really want to know what I do for a living?" And she
Mm-hmm.
sent me a link, and I saw that movie, and I really wanted to cry, and I don't cry very easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's money.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what money will make people do. They will sell their soul.
Yeah.
You can just ask any politician that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are levels to this, right? Which certainly what we see that has emerged out of these Epstein files. And by the way, there's still files they're saying have not been released, and some members of Congress are saying that they've seen those files, and those files are so much worse. So I don't know. They claim that they were going to release everything, so I don't know what game they're playing. But what to me is shocking about all of this is the number of people, and I mean people across a wide spectrum of businesses, who, these people are supposed to be the leaders in community. They're, billionaires, they're industry leaders, they're, the top of the fields, that they would have been involved in this in any way, shape, or form. I mean, imagine a prince. I mean, we put them on a pedestal, and this just reminds us that even them are capable of the most atrocious acts. It's just that I find it shocking that he never thought that it would come out, really.
I'm actually shocked also, to be honest with you. I got an appointment, but I just wanted to leave you and other listeners with something. There are 8 people
Mhm.
on the whole planet Earth that control 50% of the wealth of this entire planet.
Mm.
The other 50% is for the rest of us.
Mm.
You see, when we have an expression in the IT field, it's called garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
The average high school graduate in the United States, I don't know about here, but I lived primarily in the United States. The average high school graduate, which is 12th grade, has a 6th grade reading level and a 4th grade math level.
Mm.
Hitler said if you say it more than 2 or 3 times, they'll believe you.
Yeah, pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cult mentality, it's ignorance, and people who don't search and research. I sent you something yesterday about that. I don't know if you actually read it, about searching and researching. You know, you just can't say something to
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
have to prove it. I deal with evidence and facts, and
Yes.
not innuendo and he said, she said. I just don't, never have.
Yeah.
I remember being in the 3rd grade. I think I was 7 years old, and Miss Greenspan said Christopher Columbus discovered America. So I raised my hand and I said, how can you discover a place where people already live? And she said, well, when they say that, they mean discovered by civilization.
Mhm.
So when I got a little older, I found out what actually Native Americans could do. They had a very good civilization,
Yes.
very functional. They didn't know about things like fences. It's just the land.
Mhm.
They didn't know about what was that disease? Smallpox.
Yeah.
They didn't know about these things. They didn't know that colonization was another term for rape and pillage.
Right. Well, they didn't ask to be
And what-
colonized. So let's be clear. They didn't ask for anybody to
well,
come from
well,
Europe, right? And try to
as
take
best as
over.
scientists can, as best as scientists can determine, there was approximately 23 Native American Indians at the time, and now there's less than 3. Have a nice day. And
23 different
no, 23 million Native
oh,
Americans.
million. I see.
Yeah, and now there's less than 3 million.
Right.
And alcoholism
Mhm.
and all the blights that come with poverty. The
Yes.
colonizers taught them that, and then they gave them some what do they call it, reparations.
Mhm.
200 years later, and now they have one of the most lucrative casinos in the world called the
Yeah.
Hard Rock.
And
I've been there a couple.
their people are one of the most poor groups of people in the United States of America. They have the highest rates of suicide, the highest rates of alcoholism, and all this stuff. So it just goes to show you that money doesn't always solve your problems. In fact, sometimes money creates problems, because they've been stripped of
Well,
everything. You know.
well, since this is such a Christian island, and they probably heard this phrase, money is the pursuit of money is the root of all evil.
Mm.
Well, you spell evil backwards. It's live. We need money to live, but some have perverted it
Mm.
way and above. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife
Mhm.
has
I
given away
just saw
20
that $7.5 billion.
in
Just this year alone, and that's more
just
than all
one
of the that's more than all of the, her husband, all the richest people, everybody else combined. She
combined.
is, yeah, she's setting quite a
You
gold
know,
standard.
those 8 people that I alluded to earlier could change the world. They have enough
Mm,
money to do that,
yeah.
but they'd rather have a golden urinal.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Celebrate the day.
Have a good
Easy
one.
does it.
Yes.
All right. Later, Sandra.
Yes, darling. Irvelyn is shocked. She says, OMG. She had no idea. She didn't read the news this morning yet. Girl, I know. My apologies. A little tickle in my throat this morning. Still beautiful weather where I'm at. And of course, I know a lot of you can still hear the birds singing in the background, which is just so beautiful. Good morning, Blissful British. We do have our guests waiting, so we're going to be turning to them in just a little bit, and then we can pick back up this conversation. Lucky Body says, good morning. Woke up to the good news. Siobhan says, not shocking, really. Well, I think we're shocked that maybe as a result of this arrest now, there might be some accountability. That's the part that's shocking, because I don't think we saw it coming. We still thought that he was going to be able to skate away into the sunset for another 30 years because, they have longevity in their family. So it's shocking that he was finally arrested. I mean, his behavior, wow. All right, listen, let's put a pause on that for a few minutes here. We're going to come back to it, of course, as part of our open mic segment, but we do have some who are patiently waiting in the background. We have University College of the Cayman Islands here to talk about their spring 2026 program, and specifically as it relates to some of their workforce and continuing education courses, which are designed for professionals, career changers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners who want to strengthen their skills, remain competitive, and explore new opportunities. So a lot of these courses are short courses. So let's welcome the acting president and CEO of UCCI, Ms. Natalie Cover. Good morning, ma'am. Just unmute yourself for me, please.
Good morning, Ms. Sandra. How are you?
How are you?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you on this segment. I do believe Director Shirley will be with us as well.
I'm going to be bringing her in. So hope you're well since the last time that we spoke.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. And I hope you are well as also.
Thank you. So we do have program director of the Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing at UCCI, Ms. Krita Johnson Shirley. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning, Miss Sandra. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yes, I'm fantastic. So nice to have you here again with us. So we're going to be talking about the really just people who can upskill themselves for the spring of 2026 with some of the shorter courses that you're offering. There's workforce training and elderly care at UCCI is one of those programs. But really, Miss Natalie, if we can talk about the role that UCCI continues to play in really trying to develop local talent and strengthening Cayman's workforce.
Okay, thank you. Well, as acting president, I'm especially pleased to highlight the important work we are undertaking to strengthen and future-proof Cayman's workforce through our expanding portfolio of workforce development programs. UCCI, as you know, remains completely committed to cultivating local talent and equipping Caymanians with the skills necessary to thrive in a rapidly evolving global economy. That being said, workforce development is not solely about earning degrees. Even though that is, as you can appreciate, very important, it is equally important for us to be practical. It's industry-ready training that responds directly to the needs of our community and our labor market. One of those programs, which you have already mentioned, I would particularly like to highlight is the Elderly Care Health Aid course. As our population grows and ages, the demand for compassionate and well-trained caregivers continues to increase. The course itself provides hands-on competency-based training that prepares all of our participants to deliver high-quality care with dignity, which is extremely important in this day and age. Again, all of these courses that we offer are practical ways to upskill, whether you want to move in your career, just change careers. It's something that everyone has the opportunity to review and see how best to move forward. Director Shirley, of course, will walk you through the details of the elderly care program, as well as give us an in-depth analysis of how that actually is impacting our community to date and the success of that program.
Yes. So before we get to the specifics of the nursing program, there's quite a few programs on offer launching this March, including artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, courses in leadership, finance, data analytics, and even technology. So you continue there at UCCI to expand your offerings into different areas, which I think is great because obviously, you know, people have different interests and there's a wide number of job opportunities available to Caymanians in the industries here that are mentioned. So the elderly care health aid course, Miss Johnson Shirley, is one of the shorter courses that falls under the School of Nursing. So tell us a little bit about this. How many years now has it been offered?
All right, thank you. The elderly care health aid course, this is our second offering. So we started last year. We had a cohort of 16 and 14 graduated. So we're waiting on two just to complete the practicum. So we are launching again this year, hoping for it to be very successful on March 2nd of this year. So the course is, and it's detailed to, or it's created to care for the elderly. In the step review, the step 2023 step review survey, the report indicated that the aging population, the population of 65 plus was the fastest growing, and the population in the age range from 53 upwards was the second fastest. So that means Cayman has a older aging population, which means that from the nursing department, we need to prepare caregivers to take care of our seniors. And we're not saying that the seniors are bedridden, they're sick, but also what we teach the students is how to communicate. Because
Mm,
one of the major things that face our elderly or seniors is isolation, loneliness. So we teach our students how to do therapeutic communication, how to engage them in activities and maintain healthy lifestyle to the best of their abilities, or even also to go to the point if they have chronic diseases, how to care for them, how to maintain their nutrition, how to ensure that they're getting their medication, following up with their appointments, and
mhm,
supporting them on a whole basis of mental, emotional, and physical care.
mm. So is this program best suited for someone who is already a nurse, or can anyone really benefit from this, even if they're just you know, a live-in caregiver or a part-time caregiver?
All right, so this is not for the nursing personnel. So the bachelor's program that we have offer over the 4 years, this is not for that category. These are for persons who are probably in healthcare, taking care of seniors right now.
Mhm.
They are in homes, which we may refer to them as helpers, and they're assisting the elderly. They are also for not they're so they're for non-nursing personnel,
Okay.
persons who may want to change career from whatever they're doing into this, and that we have had students who have enrolled saying, I want to change career. I love this. They can't manage the 4 years, or the 4 years is just not in their purview to do right now because of cost and their age, maintaining home and children. So they are in the last group enjoyed this group, the course totally. I'm telling
Mhm.
you. And I have to mention that they have excellent teachers. We're looking forward to start this on March 2nd, knowing that they're getting the best from the nursing department for this course. And the skills that they learn, very practical. Apart from just learning it in the lab with our simulators, they also go to the Health Services Authority, and we partnered with Department of Children and Family Services and also Jasmine. So they get not just hands-on in the labs with mannequins and practicing with their colleagues, but they also go out and interact with these patients. So they're getting the full package.
Mhm. Very good. Wow. Okay. So it looks like you've also had a very successful first cohort then, if pretty much everyone, all 14 out of 16, and the other two are just completing their practicum. So tell us a little bit about what the course entails.
All right. So the course has theory, labs, and practicum. The first 12 weeks will be theory and labs. So they will learn about the legal aspects of caring for the elderly, and
Mhm.
in the Cayman Islands. So we bring in the laws related to the Cayman Islands. We look at it also from a global perspective. I mentioned communication. They will look at nutrition. They will look at caring physically for the patient, how to turn that patient, how to get them out of bed. Safety is important when it comes to the elderly to reduce or avoid or prevent falls completely. And caring for that, their delicate skin, and that's where the nutrition will come in as well. They are also required to get their first aid training before they start the practicum. And we so for that 12-week, all of that is happening. They also do lab and lab practice. They are tested, they get assignments, and then at the end of that 12-week, they also do a lab exam, which you're expected to pass. And then we say 3 to 4 weeks of practicum at Health Services Authority, Department of Children and Family, or and Jasmine. The good thing about the practicum is that it's based on their time. So we try to work with them because we know they're working. So we schedule the practicum to best suit them as much as possible. So it may run between 3 to 4 weeks. But the theory, let me go back to that, starts March 2nd and it should end around the end of May for the theory and practicum. And that's Mondays and Tuesdays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., 2 hours for the 2 days. And then the practicum will have various shifts, 7, 8 hours, 12 hours, and even night shift.
Mhm. Wow, sounds quite good. And what's the complete duration of time that someone should expect for these small, short-term courses?
Well, for the elderly care, it's 15 weeks, but for
Mhm.
the other courses, they're roughly between 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay. So the elderly care course is a bit more comprehensive.
Yes, because we
Yeah.
have to make sure we prepare them properly, efficiently to manage on their own when we're finished.
Mhm. Fantastic. So let's then discuss, of course, the workforce course highlights for spring 2026. They fall under the continuing education division. And when you see a course like this in high demand, you continue to offer it. But the courses, price of the courses seem to be extremely competitive. So let's talk about what this course costs.
Okay. Well, this course, the health aid course, costs $1,000.
Mhm.
And whilst that may seem a little steep for a course, we do offer a payment plan. We do realize, as you did indicate earlier, this has been heavily subscribed. The pass rate in it has been phenomenal. We want to ensure that we can offer this to more individuals without the barriers of a financial constraint.
Mm.
So it is $1,000. We are allowing a payment plan on that, which would be maximum 3 payments across the 15-week period, with the final payment being made before the final assessment and graduation.
Mhm.
So we took all of the community's concerns where finances were related, and we came up with a payment plan. Again, we are here to serve the community, uh, but we also need to ensure that the commitment goes both ways where this course is concerned.
Mhm. Okay, fantastic. And can we talk about a few of the other courses as people are listening to this so that they can get perhaps a quick rundown on what else is on offer if they would like to be able to access these, workforce ready really courses here coming up in March, running most of them running from early March through April.
Excellent. So yes, early March through April, we have the AI Foundations, Concepts, Tools, and Applications, which are for professionals seeking practical AI skills. I think that will be heavily subscribed given the nature of everything AI in this realm. There's the practical cybersecurity. We have the essentials of Excel. There's also the very popular hedge fund administration course. We do also offer the captive insurance management and reinsurance course, which is principles and practice, offering a deep dive into corporate insurance, risk strategy, and Cayman specific context. We also do the introduction to C plus programming, the leadership journey, which has now garnered quite a bit of interest. And just at our distinguished lecture series, a number of people have expressed interest in joining that. So we expect that to be heavily subscribed. And of course, then we have the social media content, which that has become very popular. And most definitely the final on offer would be our elderly care program, which Director Quita has taken us through. So there are quite a variety of items on offer. And of course, you may ask, like, why does this matter? But
Mhm.
these courses are designed with purpose because they're people with real jobs, real industries, and gives us real opportunities. Because at any given point in time, we may want to change, we may want to upskill.
Mhm.
Where the elderly care program is concerned, a vast majority of what we call helpers are taking this course. Their employers want them to take this course because they want to ensure that the care that's being provided to their loved ones is above standard. They want to ensure that when they leave, they don't have to worry about, oh, who's taking care of, who's administering the medication. Are they even competent enough to do that? So we have seen a number of employers of helpers specifically have them join this course, pay for this course for their employee, just to have that peace of mind. And I think that's where the service to our community is, and we're providing reputable nurses to teach this course, so we do not have to worry about the competency level of what's being taught.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, if you have an elderly person or even a special needs person, in your home and you have a helper, this would be the sort of investment, in them, but also really for the care of your loved one that would really make sense. So if you can't afford to pay for the full course, even going 50-50 on it with them, where you pay half and then allow them to pay the balance on the,
Mhm.
payment plan that you were talking about, I think is an investment, ensuring that your elderly, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever they may be, are actually getting the best possible care. So this is really, really important. I see great things on here about blood sugar measurement, for example, how to bathe
Yes.
in care. I mean, it's just so incredibly practical. So, Director, the training is actually going to take place at your fully equipped nursing lab. And tell us a little bit about the lab. I've been in the lab
Mhm.
more recently when you had, I think, a feature last year during your nursing, your annual nursing event. And I was really taken aback by, you've got life size, what do we call them these days? Maybe dummies isn't the right word, but life size
Mannequins.
mannequins.
Yes, mannequins and simulators.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about the nursing lab that you have there at UCCI.
All right, so we have two nursing labs, and they're equipped with life-size simulators, as you said. And the students practice on these mannequins or simulators, and they're pretty heavy. So we have a family of Hal and Susie, and a little boy and a baby. And in the lab, apart from the simulators, we have all the supplies for these students. We have the blood pressure machine. So they really don't need to bring any supplies with them. We have it. They would only need supplies if when they're going out to practicum, they may want their own personal ones. But in the lab, we have the blood glucose machines, and we have our blood pressure. We have the wheelchairs, we have the turning equipment, how to turn the patients in bed, how to move, transfer from the bed to the wheelchair. So we're fully equipped with the supplies that the students will need. And also in terms of the lab, it's available outside of their classroom hours for them to come in and practice. And they can practice. We have a lab intern that that can assist them, and we have two competent teachers that will be carrying them through these 12 weeks of theory and lab. So they will be a little bit surprised by Hal lying in the bed, because as you open the door, he's there to greet you. But he's harmless. He's just there, you know, help you to learn what you need to learn, the skills that you need to know and do.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about once they've completed the course, what it is that they actually get from completion.
All right. So when they complete, they get a certificate in elderly healthcare as a elderly healthcare aid. So that's what they will be called, a
Okay.
healthcare aid. And I just want to say that even though it's focusing on the elderly, the
Mhm.
skills that they're learning applicable across the board for any age group, whether it's a child, whether it's a adult or the older adult, it's applicable.
Mm,
So they can complete when they're finished. They don't necessarily have to work just with the elderly because the course does give them those skills that are across the lifespan for everyone. So they get a certificate in elderly care health aid. As a no, let me make it correct. They get a certificate for the
mhm,
elderly as an elderly care health aid.
mm.
Yes, so they're a health aid.
Right,
And yes, so that's what they will get after completing theory and labs. They must complete the practical.
right. And of course, then, for people, I see someone saying that no matter how much training courses Caymanians get, they'll be rendered not qualified, get yet they will be rendered not qualified. Permits will take priority over Caymanians and other waste of government money. So, Nita, it's unfortunate that you're seeing it from such a negative perspective because it opens up the possibility for people to get jobs in the elderly care homes, assisted living facilities, private homes, and healthcare institutions as well. Now, let's talk about if someone is interested, they're sitting here listening to the program, they go, that sounds like something I can do over the 15 weeks. How do they get more information? So the virtual open house that's coming up.
Exactly. We have two virtual open houses scheduled. So we have one on the 25th of February, and we also have one on the 26th of February. So those we are also via our social media platforms. We do have links. You are able to just go on our website as well and access that information. The links will be there. We can also, if you wish to call us here at UCCI, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, our website will be available, and we'll also share those details with you as well, Sandra, so that you can make sure that it is out there and readily available.
Yeah.
So having virtual local open houses is a good way for us to invite people in giving them the flexibility, because we're all working adults, so we cannot sometimes just jump up and go to the
Mhm.
campus. So having a virtual open house just gives you that flexibility. It also limits your commitment, because then you're here, you can see what's happening, and then make a decision as to whether you want to continue with this program, if it is of interest to you. So it just gives you that opportunity to glean information from the individuals that are present on that platform at the time.
Okay, very good. And here's another reason why you might want to join the virtual open house. They're going to give you a 10% discount on the course fees. So, you save a little bit of money as well. If you register within 24 hours of attending the virtual open house, you will get this at 10% savings. So everyone is trying to save a little bit of money. So that makes complete sense. So this is wonderful. How can you register, folks? Just go to the website, ucci.edu.ky, and you'll see details there. Or you can also contact their continuing education division directly. And of course, time is ticking because today is the 19th of February already. So the virtual open houses are going to be next week, Wednesday and Thursday. The midday one is at 12 p.m. And then the after hours one on the Thursday is at 6 p.m. So don't miss out this opportunity, because then classes actually begin, the courses begin in March, which is just a few weeks away, really. Yeah.
Right.
And is there a number, there's a max number of people that can register for this particular nurses course? That's our
We
early care health aid course.
we can take a maximum of, I would say, 17, because clinical placement, we don't want to overdo it. So we're looking at anywhere between, I would say, maximum 20, 18 to 20.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And aisle 2025 has a question, says just joining. Do they offer 100% online courses, sign up online, classes online, tests online, etc.? Just in general.
Not at this time, not for this program.
Mm.
Given also the practical nature of it, there is a practicum, as Director Shirley pointed out,
Mhm.
and doing something of this nature, you have to be hands-on, because if you're trying to take vitals, administer the medication, you have to be hands-on. So at this point, we have not explored an option that would mean that it's just virtually online.
Yes. Okay. We've got a few questions from our audience. You know, our audience they love interactiveness. So here's a first question, another question, I should say. Good morning, Sandy. Can you ask the acting president if she's done a study to understand how much someone makes on average in elderly care field? It's pretty well known that most of these positions are very low paying. So why aren't they focusing on offering a full RN or RNA degree? There's a
The,
two-part question, I guess.
well, I can answer the first part. We haven't actually done a full-scale study of the the wages in this section, but we do know the objective of our creation for this course is the need in the Caymanian community. That's what fostered the production of this course. And as you can appreciate, like we've said, our population is aging. So we want to ensure that we're not just importing people who have aid qualifications. We want to ensure that we're offering it here. We can control what that looks like. Director Shirley can allude or inform us with regards to the programs that we do offer here under the nursing facility. We do offer a 4-year program, which she is directly involved with, and I will allow her to speak to that program in response to the question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nanalee. So we do offer a 4-year registered nursing program. At the end, you get a bachelor's degree in nursing. And the RNA, which I would think would mean registered nursing assistant, we do not offer that at this time. But our 4-year program has had a lot of success over the past 13 years, and we continue to work diligently with our students to maintain that success, and not just academically, but ensuring that they're skilled and competent to practice after the program. Yes, there could be consideration to increase, but the need for caring for the elderly, and as we collaborate with Department of Children and Family Services, we realize that there is a great need for the elderly care course. And so we started with that one. As time goes along, we can seek to expand, but time will determine how we go forward with which new course we want to offer.
Mhm.
Right.
All
And
right. Yes.
and I just want to say thank you to the listener who posed that question. We will keep that under consideration and provide an update at a later time.
Mhm. Fantastic. Here's another question that has come in. This person says, "Oh, sorry, that was in relation to the." We'll get to that in our open mic segment. My apologies. One second. I do have some other ones. So Anthony says, "Are they in a position to discuss the advertised AI program before they sign off? My son attends a college, and I'm interested in getting him to take the course."
Well, the details of the full AI program, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to discuss it at this point, but it will be in our virtual open house. And if the individual wants to provide their contact details via you to me, I'm happy to get that information across to them, because the course is fully developed and the content is active and ready. So we'll be happy to have a conversation, and I can put our AI expert to reach out to them.
All right. Another question slash comment says, "I'm curious if Caymanians are enrolling in this certification of care for elderly persons, or if it has been mainly attractive to permit holders."
All right, so we have had both Caymanians and work permit holders who have taken part in the course.
Mhm.
And I can just say that both enjoyed the program. Both set of persons did indicate that it was a great course. It was a course that they will promote to others. So I cannot say if it's just mainly permit holders or Caymanians, but I know that which one is greater. But I know we have had both, and we're looking forward to having both again. And taking care of your own. I just also want to say that if you're a parent
Mhm.
and you want to do this course for your or you're a child of a senior person and you want to do the course, you can come on board and do it because some persons in the family are the caregivers. So if you want to take your home and taking care of your mother, your father, or aunt, a senior person, the course is open to you as well.
And just to add to that, we've only had one cohort to date. And again, it was well balanced with Caymanians and work permit holders. And now with the next one will be heavily subscribed. We want to build on that and again provide the care that's needed for all individuals, whether it's elderly, whether it's our special needs. We want to make sure that the people who are delivering and administering this care are competent, have some relevant training, and can move from there. It gives people like myself a peace of mind because we are parents. We are, we have our own aging parents, and we want to make sure that whomever is out there, this is something that they take advantage of. It can be that you yourself take it. You start your own business because you understand now what this course entails, and you'll say, well, maybe I can use this as a springboard. But it starts with our community. We have to get involved. We have to ensure that we do have that empathy. We do understand what's really happening. Unless most people aren't exposed to it, unless they have someone in their home or have a family member who is aged and can see that firsthand. And we've all heard the horror stories. We want to ensure that the individuals who are delivering care can deliver care in a competent and empathetic manner. That's what we really, really want.
And just to add to that, I appreciate that you mentioned the business. So there are businesses that hire elderly persons to take care of the elderly. And if you're not trained or if you operate one, you can, as Ms. Kova said, you can get this training to understand what your staff is supposed to do. It's
Mhm.
also another opportunity for Caymanians to open their own business because you would have been trained. And this is just the beginning. So there are other certifications that you can do after this, but it's a good step to entrepreneurship.
All right. So Andrew, or sorry, Alfredo has some general questions directed at acting CEO, but I think Alfredo, you made an assumption that she's actually the CEO and she isn't. She's the acting CEO at this time. But he said he wanted to hear more from you as the newly appointed CEO. So I just want to correct that. She is the acting CEO. So, Natalie, he has questions for you, which I'm not sure if because you're just acting, if you're in a position to answer any of these, but we'll put it to you anyway. What are your top 3 priorities for the university over the next 12 to 18 months? And how will you measure success in a way that students, staff, and the Caymanian community can clearly see?
And measurement.
Thank you, Alfredo, for the question.
Thank you. My top 3.
Yes. While you're having a think about that, let me just also read the last bit here from the
Yes.
previous question where the person says, so it sounds like it's a certification for domestic helpers slash caregivers. But I think now we've seen the expansion into even people who might be interested in it from the entrepreneurial side of things as well. All
Okay.
right. Yes.
So again, to clarify, I am in an acting position. I cannot bind whomever takes over in the full capacity. But for myself, I would think where UCCI is concerned, I would like to see it rebranded. I would like to see us revitalize what's on offer here, elevate the status in our community so as to ensure that this is our top tier premier institution. This should be the go-to institution for the Caymanian community. And in saying that, it is government funded. So again, when we sit and consider the courses that are here on offer, whether it's an associate's, a certificate associate's, a master's program, this should be one of the first places that individuals coming out of high school can say, well, maybe I'll do even 2 years here. The government then can reallocate those resources here and grow this program even more. So for me, it's to get in here and understand where we need to reorganize, create more structure. And then, of course, as a measurement, I mean, we can only measure the success of this by assessing, one, the individuals who actually deliver the training, and also then what is the end result from our students? What are the grades? Where are they being positioned in Cayman, in the global economy? Where are they going? If they're using an associate's degree program from here, where does that take them? Do they understand the MOUs that we have in place, where they can readily transfer all their credits and be accepted? We have MOUs with Loyola. We have MOUs in Switzerland with the School of Hospitality. That has just been expanded. These are things that I would like to highlight, that there is a viable programs here that the community needs to be aware of. But again, it needs to be rebranded, marketed, so that our status here can be seen and known, and not be counted as, well, it's just the local college. So for me, those would be my objectives, and then how to remeasure.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, folks. Again, the short courses are, being offered starting in March. So please feel free to get registered for those. Miss Speak Your Mind says, does UCCI offer teaching courses / degrees? Also, who can I contact to get further information? Because when I email, I don't normally get a reply. So let's first inquire teaching, and then
Yes.
who can
So with regards to the teaching, and that is near and dear to my heart, and that is one of the programs that we have just sat down in the last 3 weeks to try to resurrect and make sure that it is what we need in the community. So if the individual wishes to email me personally, I would respond on that. We can have conversations, because the team is actively looking at that program and refining that curriculum in order to put out the teaching certifications, so that everybody is aware of it and we can get more Caymanians into this field as well. Because if you're a subject matter expert, if you do a year's certification on how to teach, you'll be a lot more comfortable to get into this arena, because we're always looking great lecturers, always. So I would like to have that gateway into the program. And again, for the individual who's asked the question, please feel free to reach out to me and I will respond.
And what's the best means of reaching out? Is there an email address that will get a response, I guess, is what?
Well, it's ncover@ucci.edu.ky.
Okay, wonderful.
Or feel free to telephone me on 938-8179.
Okay.
And before we go, just for persons who are interested in the elderly care, my contact detail is 525-2358. Or my email is qjohnson@ucci.edu.ky.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for this information. Again, folks, University College of the Cayman Islands offering a number of sort of short courses under their continuing education heading. And the one that was featured today is the Elderly Care Health Aid course, which begins 15 weeks and it begins here shortly. It's going to be held, classes are going to be held every Monday and Tuesday from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. You do 12 weeks of theory, 3 weeks of clinical practicum, and the practicum is being done at the HSA DCFS residential homes, and the fee for the course is only $1,000, which I still think is reasonable, and it's a payment plan. They also have a payment plan available for you. So do reach out to the university, and of course, feel free to join in on the upcoming virtual open house, if you will, to get further details. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Ms. Sandra,
Thank
for having
you.
us this morning.
Have
Thank
a
you so much. Have
day.
a wonderful day.
Yes, you
Have a
too.
good day.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, folks. Again, that's UCCI. Do check out their website for more details on those and other courses that they have available. So just by way of announcement, today is Thursday. I think I said some other day earlier. What day did I say? You know, when you have a holiday, plus you throw in vacation for good measure, sometimes you really don't know what day it is. It's all kind of mixed up. But I'm gonna tell you guys on Monday about the holiday vibes and what we've been up to, we've been doing. But let me just remind you that on Saturday, that's this Saturday, the Alex Panton Foundation is going to be hosting their 9th annual Youth Mental Health Symposium, and it is at capacity. So if you haven't registered, sorry, Bobo and TD, but you missed the deadline. You missed it because they had a capacity in terms of numbers. So thanks to the overwhelming support from the community, registration for this event is now closed. And they want to thank everyone who registered and continues to show up for youth mental health in the Cayman Islands. This year's theme, Lighting the Way, Turning Hope into Action, is going to bring together a lot of expert speakers for a full day of meaningful conversation and practical insight. If you've registered and you'd like to get the full agenda and speaker lineup, please check out the website, alexpantonfoundation.ky. And the agenda is live as we speak. And on February the 21st, all of these experts will be taking a center stage at Hotel Indigo Grand Cayman, covering topics that support parents, educators, healthcare professionals, and the wider community. While registration is now closed due to, again, overwhelming demand, that's so wonderful. I love to hear that. You can still explore the full agenda and speaker lineup at the website, again, alexpanfoundation.ky. And I saw recently that it was Alex's birthday, and I'm going to take just a moment to acknowledge that. His mom, Miss Jean Panton, posted something on social media about the fact that he would have been celebrating his birthday. I think 32. I'll double check how old he would have been this year. And so, as a parent, certainly my heart went out to her. She shared a lot of baby photos and photos of him growing up. And it was just so nice to see. Yeah, just a really sad situation. But he looked like such a vibrant young man. And I will say also that we really appreciate the Panton family over the years sharing their personal story, their story of, what this journey has been like for them, and not just creating this foundation, which has been amazing, but also talking about Alex and sharing his story. And of course, Jean Panton is chairperson of the Alex Panton Foundation, which her family started, herself and her husband, Wayne Panton. And the foundation has been doing a lot of amazing work over the years. So, thank them so much for that. But she will be up and speaking at the symposium on Saturday. And you're welcome to go check out the full agenda. Hopefully you got an opportunity to register. But if you didn't, let that just be a reminder to, next time, get registered early. So this would have been February the 10th, would have been Alex's 32nd birthday. And so in his memory, she shared, how he was a big baby, bouncing 9.9 pounds. Oh my gosh, he was huge. Born February the 10th, 1994. And she shared that his full name was Jonathan Alexander Gurney Panton. They called him Alex and Allie, and how adored he was. And his big brother Cody was just so excited to see him and to, have him there. And lots of family photos were shared from when he was a baby and growing up. It was really, really nice to see. So thank you, Miss Jean Panton, for continuing to make us all part of, Alex's story and his journey, and now in his legacy, the Alex Panton Foundation, which continues to do amazing work and helps a lot of young people. Make sure you follow them on social media, because you can get lots of details on the ongoing courses that they have. For example, they are doing, they just did one on this past Monday in the evening called Let's Break Barriers, Let's Talk Healthy Relationships. And it's a free non-commitment necessary adult support group for ages 18 to 30. Because remember, our youth, they don't stop being a youth at the age of 16 or 18 years old. It goes up. And so they do a lot of these sessions online or breakout sessions, which you can attend. And, they're always promoting them. So this one was led by Renee Ebanks from their office. They're talking about safe, judgment-free space to reflect, learn, and connect when it comes to healthy relationships in honor of Valentine's Day, which was over the weekend. Valentine's Saturday, I think. Yeah. Okay. So, but follow them, because then you'll get notification of these types of events and stuff as well. All right, folks. How was the agriculture show yesterday? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. Al 2025 says, I was friends with Alex, still so sad. He is missed. Yeah, very sad. Tommy Thompson, good morning. He says, morning, Sandy. I love the outdoor view. Thank you. I'm on vacation, so I'm enjoying some nice crisp weather. And yes, decided to set up outside where I can enjoy the freshness of it. Everything is so fresh, although my sinuses are a little bit irritated. The change in weather can do that, but still enjoying it. And also enjoying the beautiful birds. Like, you just stop for a minute and you hear them talking to each other, and there's beautiful scenery there. So thank you so much, Tommy, Mr. Tommy, enjoying it. Isle says, I heard that the shuttle situation was terrible yesterday. Same complaint every year. Oh gosh, I haven't heard, but we'll certainly check in with the organizers. I don't know what would be causing that, but we'll try to see if we can get some details. It's just one of those events where on Monday, when I tell you guys what I've been doing all this week, I'm going to tell you about an event that I went to. The most people that I've ever sat with in a single place, I'm sure of that. And, these things cause traffic and logistical issues. And, it's bound to happen when you have really, really large events with thousands of people coming out. So we can talk about some of that on Monday's program. But if you're just joining the program, first of all, good morning and welcome. And let me say that the breaking news this morning, trending all over the world, is the fact that former Prince Andrew has been arrested this morning at his home. He has a little cottage there, apparently, that he was still living in. And he has been arrested as a result of his connections to Jeffrey Epstein, the late financier and convicted sex offender, disgraced, really. And he's been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. And this is considered quite a serious offense in the UK, carrying what could be a life sentence. Somewhere I read that. Did I read that in our story? Yes. They arrested him this morning shortly after 8 a.m. at the the cottage there at what's the property called? At Wood Farm, the cottage on the Sandringham estate, where he's been living since losing his royal titles. What a disgrace. So this is, I think, a long time coming. I must say that the investigation, the actual complaint that triggered the UK investigation was brought by the anti-monarchy campaign group called Republic, which accused Andrew of suspected misconduct in public office and breach of official secrets. Entirely possible. Of course, now it's up to the police to carry out a full investigation. They have actually raided 2 properties. When I say raided, they've gone in and with warrants and everything, I'm sure. And they are now searching 2 properties to get whatever evidence they can to build their case. And they did confirm earlier in the month, the police there, that they were assessing the allegations before today's escalation to a full arrest. No comment thus far from Buckingham Palace on the arrest this morning, but really and truly, I'm sure they would have known that it was coming. But, the royal household had indicated before this that they would cooperate fully with police if asked. And that statement was issued in February, around the 8th or 9th of February. And that was a spokesperson said that King Charles III had expressed profound concern at the allegations emerging from the Epstein files and stood ready to support any police inquiry into his younger brother. Can you imagine? Family dinners will never be the same ever again in that household. Not that they were probably all that great to begin with, but there you go. That must be quite something. What a hot mess. So now his name is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So that is his name when he's stripped of titles. So that's who has been arrested. He is 66 years old today. Today is actually his birthday. They decided to arrest him on his birthday. If that doesn't send a clear message, I don't know what does. But this really cements his dramatic fall from grace, if he ever was in a place that we'd call grace, but there you go. He was formerly known as the Duke of York, and King Charles removed him in October of last year, removed his prince title, which was the remaining royal honors, and ordered him to leave the Royal Lodge, which was his longtime Windsor residence, effectively exiling him to the cottage where he was arrested this morning. So other senior royals, including the Prince and Princess of Wales, have in recent weeks publicly focused their comments on support for victims of abuse, underlining the widening distance between the institution and the king's brother. And of course, his wife. What a hot mess this family is. The wife was also, pandering to some extent and kissing the feet and probably something else of Jeffrey Epstein. So much so that a number of her nonprofit organization has been shut down, and a number of other organizations linked to, what was her name again? Fergie. Lord have mercy. What is her name? Fergie. Oh gosh, I can't remember her. What would be her name? What would be her full name now? Fergie what? Sarah Ferguson, aka known as Fergie. Sarah Ferguson. She's married to him from 1986 to 1996, and they have 2 daughters together, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie. And they continue to live together at the Royal Lodge since 2008, despite their divorce, and they were considered to be very friendly. They had a quote unquote friendly divorce. But now we see that it becomes even more interesting in respect to his allegations of his misconduct, as well as even her. I mean, this gets crazy, but her behavior as it relates to this, the Epstein situation. So we know, for example, that there was correspondence between her and Jeffrey Epstein. And, you know, she has even went as far as claiming that she wanted to marry. She was asking, you cannot make this stuff up. She was actually asking Jeffrey Epstein to marry her. Ugh, disgusting. Who wants to marry a child predator, a pedophile? Well, apparently Sarah Ferguson wanted to because of the money that he had. She was always seen, as long as we can remember, as someone who did not marry for love. You know, she married for money. She married for position. And so how incredibly sad is that? So we had emails released in late 2025 and earlier this year that show Ferguson emailing Epstein even while he was in prison. This is where the magnitude of this blows my mind. Like, it's just unbelievable. My mind is like, what on earth? The dude is in prison for child sex offenses. And then you're asking him for business advice for her venture, Mother's Army, and discussing travel to visit him after his release. You see, that's how these people were not taking this seriously at all. It is just unfrigging believable. Anyway, they've had multiple meetings. Apparently he loaned her money and she wanted even more money from him. So a lot of the material suggests multiple meetings between 2009 and 2010 after his conviction, which contradicted the idea that she'd actually cut him off once his offending was known. So a lot of people, President Trump, Fergie, you know, all these people claim that, oh, you know, after he was convicted or this or that, we cut ties with him. The evidence has shown clearly that they are a bunch of liars, and that is absolutely not true. They did not cut ties with him. They continued to cadoodle or cahoodle or whatever they were doing with this man. And after they knew that he was a child sexual offender, I can't even, my mind, it's hard for me to digest how anybody, much less members of the royal family, now the president of the United States of America, people who you think have sense, but clearly not, you think have a moral compass, but clearly not, would be hanging out with a convicted child predator. I cannot fathom how that happens. I mean, let me put it this way. I'm trying to think of what convicted child predators I know, right? None that I would even put in the realm of an acquaintance. I don't have any friends that have been convicted of that, thank God. But if I did, forget about it. I would never speak to them again. They couldn't even listen. I'm the kind of person, you convicted of that type of offense, when I walk on this side of the road, you better be walking on the other side of the road. Okay? It's like when I see, oh man, I always forget his first name, Webster. What's the, they have so many in their family, but y'all know which one I'm talking about, with the afro, right? When I see him, thankfully he has enough sense to know. I guess he must listen to the show, because he has enough sense to know how much I disdain these people. And so normally when he sees me, he gets up and leaves. Thank the Lord, right? So he likes to hang out at the farmer's market a lot. And I pass him. I come there, and sometimes I'm just coming out of my car, and he sees me and he gets up and walks away. He does me the favor of having to really, you know. But if I go to the grocery store and I see him, disgusting. My stomach turns. I'm just utterly disgusted, and I keep a physical distance because mentally I feel disgusted by this person. Physically, I feel disgusted by this person. Gabby says, and to imagine that she was a mother of 2 girls. These people don't have no moral compass whatsoever. They don't care. It's like crazy. But yes, I mean, that makes it even more atrocious and even worse when you think about it. So you're a child molester. Don't look at me, because I'm going to give you the evil eye. Don't look at me. Definitely never speak to me. This man has never, I don't even know what I would do if Webster tried to speak to me. I think I would punch him in his face, right? And then of course they're going to arrest me and put me in jail. Oh, they'll find a reason for that. So don't, he's never done it. And I would ask him, please don't ever do it. Because I'm so insulted by what you did to a child in our community. Ugh. And I see someone in particular who's a follower of the show. You know, they listen all the time. They're always sitting down having conversations with this man. I'm like, how? How do you stomach that? I don't know how you stomach that. That's different. Wee, good morning. Morning, Sophia. Ay. Absolutely disgusting. El Rey says, go on through, Trump. Ugh, El Rey, you're beginning to disturb me. Your support of this man is beyond anything that makes any sense. You cannot, in a time like this when we're having this serious discussion, you cannot say go on through Trump like this is something that is humorous in any way, shape, or form. Disgusting. And it's not kind of like, oh, like we don't care what Trump would have done. Like he said, he could grab somebody by the privates and it's okay. It's that type of behavior and supporting that is really, really disgusting. There has to be greater accountability. So she, speaking again about Sarah Ferguson, she has admitted to taking about 15,000 pounds, which is roughly $20,000 from Epstein to pay off debts, calling it a terrible and gigantic error of judgment, and saying that she abhors pedophilia. She's a liar is what she is, because her behavior doesn't support it. That's what her words say, but her behavior doesn't support it. However, even after that, she sought even more money from this man, which she did not previously disclose, including there was a 2009 email about urgently needing $20,000 for rent, and claims from a biographer that support could total up to $2 million over many years. Was he giving her money? I'm sure he was. You know, that's the business that he was in, getting all these people into his inner circle, as many as he could, so that he had something over them. Other emails show her apologizing. Hear this mess. Apologizing to Epstein for publicly disowning him, calling him a generous supreme friend. That's a quotation. Generous supreme friend. And she was sorry that she had publicly disowned him. And reportedly even a legend. She needs to be in jail too. Talking about this man is a legend, which clashes again with her earlier statements that she would never have anything to do with him again. Bunch of liars is what these people are. So now we have the fallout, of course. Several charities who had connections with Sarah Ferguson have now dropped her as their patron. Once the apologetic email and the other correspondence with Epstein became public, and then her continued association with him, which they say was incompatible with their work, especially children's causes. You cannot make this stuff up. It's so disgusting. A charity that she founded has announced that it is shutting down, explicitly linking the closure to the damage caused by the Epstein revelations and questions around his financial support of her. The UK and international media, of course, have heavily criticized her judgment, focusing on her continuing to seek money and advice from Epstein after his conviction, and in what looks like a pattern of financial dependence on him. Lord Jesus. And of course, the two girls have publicly, I think it was it Beatrice? One of them publicly said that they, want nothing to do with the father for sure. And now they're starting to put some distance between their mother as well. There's some newly surfaced material, including claims or suggestions that Ferguson may have taken the princess, hear this now, to meet Epstein at his Palm Beach home, raising further questions about their exposure to him, although there's no allegation that they were involved in any criminal activity. Wow. You know the man's a pedophile, and you introduce him to Princess Beatrice. These people are sick. There's something wrong with them. Seriously, what the what? She needs to be in jail right next to her husband. Then again, knowing the two of them kinky, they might like that. yay, yay. What a hot mess. It's disgusting. So there've been fallouts elsewhere. There's other people. There was one in the royal family of the Saudis. Let me just get his name here if I can. Okay. And there's a brief Cayman mention. I will acknowledge that. We did a full story in that. But most of these people, especially on the US side, have no consequences. Interestingly enough, the Europeans and others have taken a very different approach to this. They're stripping people of titles. They're having people step down. Now they've arrested the prince. So it's a growing list of politicians, royals, executives, academics, institutions have faced resignations, investigations, big payouts, or permanent reputational damage because of their connections to Jeffrey Epstein. And the one man who doesn't is Donald Trump. Yep, that is the one that stands out as astonishing, because you guys have drank the Kool-Aid so much. Now I understand. It's always been difficult for me to understand how people followed Jim Jones and literally drank that Kool-Aid, because I'm sure that's where the term drink the Kool-Aid comes from, right? I'm thinking, how do you get involved in these cults? Now that I have lived my 52 years, I'm going to be 53 this year, I've lived a little bit and I've seen things. I can tell you that I now understand it because I see it in the world that we live in, but it still doesn't make any logical sense to me. I'm still confused as heck. But now I see how this is possible. I see how people can see something with their own eyes, smell something with their own senses, touch something, read something, and still come away with a totally different conclusion than most sensible people, because they will support someone no matter what they do, what they say. It simply doesn't matter. I now get it with the Kool-Aid. Like I can see how you all are. It's just as shocking. Well, Ray claims that there's no evidence, there's no proof that he's done anything. So is there any more proof that what's his name? Former Prince Andrew has done anything? You have pictures, you have correspondence. Donald Trump is listed, his name is mentioned more than anybody else. And yet you think this man is somehow squeaky clean. Okay, right. I see. And he says, why not put the same energy in the other person's mention, the Epstein file? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what is so amazing is the art of deflection. Anybody on Trump, you guys saw, what was the lady's name the other day who was doing some interviews and stuff? She was before the House committee. When they were asking her questions, her ability to deflect was like next level. She should have a PhD in the art of deflection, because at one point they ask her some question, she throws out there, oh, did you see how the Dow performed? It's like, huh? Nobody not talking about finances or the Dow's performance. The art of deflection. It's like, here, look at these files, look at this document. Why have you not acted? Well, why are you asking me that question? Nobody else acted before me. It was like, lady, we know that. We acknowledge that those people should have done something. Now we're asking you about why you didn't act. It's just unbelievable, folks. It is next level crazy. The art of deflection. Y'all need to write a whole book on that. Philip says, I'm so ashamed of these MAGA Caymanian men in particular, but the women are no better who support this type of behavior of their leader. What if it was one of their daughters that was abused, these pedophiles? Again, going back to this concept of drinking the Kool-Aid, I have to now believe that even if, and I see some of them, of course, some of them I consider, well, I thought otherwise good people, but now I'm just like, whoa. I do have a question. for them, because again, even their support of him goes against the grain of who they are. Some of them are members of the LGBT plus community, and you know Trump can't stand those people. So I'm like, how do you know that somebody hates you, right? Who you are. And we say that you can't help who you are. If you're a lesbian, you can't help that. If you're gay, you can't help that. This person hates those people, and you can still support him. He hates black people. Okay, he posted a few pictures the other day claiming he's had black friends. Trump has never had a black friend. He rubs bonkies or elbows or whatever with civil rights leaders because he thought that would get him some brownie points. He wants to hang out with Oprah because she's a billionaire and that'll get him a few brownie points or whatever. He wants access to their influence, their lifestyle, to pretend like he's somebody. You think this man, let me tell you what in my mind the litmus test is. You want to know how you're prejudiced? This is how it works. This is the ultimate test, right? Because I know a lot of you don't even know that you're prejudiced. You're prejudiced and you don't even know it. Here's how you know. Sit with yourself for a minute. And I don't care what color you are, black, white, Asian, whatever culture, whatever, don't matter. Ask yourself, right? Oh yeah, I've got black friends. That's what everybody says. Oh, I've got white friends. Okay. Ask yourself this question. If you have children, and if you don't, we can get to another alternative, right? If you have children, would you allow your children to marry, fall in love, and marry these people? So, for example, litmus test for Trump. Trump, would you allow any of your children, Ivanka, what's the other, Donald Trump Jr., the youngest one, probably nobody, don't really want him. He's so weird. But anyway, him, Barron Trump, would you allow any of your kids to marry a black person, an African person, a Caribbean black person? I can tell you, Trump would have a heart attack. The answer is no, he wouldn't. There is correspondence where the man is talking about the fact that he don't want no colored girls coming to these parties that they're having. Thank God, actually, because that means that there probably weren't that many. I saw one that kind of looked like she was mixed, but there probably weren't that many victims then that would have been of any sort of African descent, because he prefers them blonde, and that's probably why he likes the Europeans, because he's trying to get them as pure, racially pure as possible. Lord Jesus, it's crazy. And he made some comment in one of the emails. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. It was in one of the Epstein emails about his preferences for Caucasian girls, white and whatever. But then he referred to black people with some term that I'm not really familiar with. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see real quick. And I don't know the term, and I figure that the reason why I don't know it, because Trump is so old that he probably, outside the N-word, he uses these antiquated terms to describe people of color. And so, I don't know what those things mean. Anyway, it's just strange and all bizarre and just unbelievable. But there's a long list, let's be clear, El Rey, of people who have been held accountable. Now, listen, we've got Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. She's still in jail after being convicted in 2022 of trafficking and abuse-related charges tied to underage girls and sentenced to 20 years in prison. What does Trump do? He gets in and he gives her a nice, cushy prison now. Yeah, this is someone who clearly is finding this behavior abhorrent, right? No, it's not. Let me get the details of that just in case you've forgotten. Giving her an upgrade in her prison situation. So now she's in a Very, very cushy. She's been transferred to a different prison. And again, you only do that when you are sitting there silently supporting this kind of behavior. That's the only way. So in August of 2025, Trump's Justice Department, the same ones who now sit back and be, oh, well, what did somebody else do? Okay, those people didn't prosecute, yes, some of these people as they should have. But at the same time, they did prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell because she was convicted, sentenced to 20 years, right? That's more than the Trump administration has done. The Trump administration has prosecuted nobody in relation to the Epstein files. They're not even investigating anyone. They're telling you all to move on. President Trump has said that out of his own words. Just move on. Forget about this. The American people are sick of this. That's what he has said. Come on, El Rey. Come with me now. How does that sound like someone who actually cares about sex trafficking and child victims? It doesn't, right? He said, move on. I've heard enough of this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. And his Justice Department, on his, I'm sure, on his approval, right, approved her transfer that effectively upgraded her from a low security federal prison. She was already in a low security federal prison to a minimum security camp in Texas. And whistleblowers say that she's now getting unusually soft treatment there. So in August of 2025, the Bureau of Prisons moved Maxwell from the FCI Tallahassee in Florida to a federal prison camp, Bryan, in Texas, which is a minimum security women's camp described as having dormitory housing, low staff to inmate ratios, and little to no perimeter fencing. FPC Bryan typically houses nonviolent white-collar offenders, and internal policy usually keeps sex offenders out of that camp, right? This is why the transfer has been categorized by critics as a major upgrade for someone convicted of child sex trafficking. Now, let's put it back in context. The transfer came just days after Maxwell sat for 2 days of interviews with the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, Trump's number 2 at the Department of Justice, as part of the administration's effort to manage the political damage of the Epstein document releases. A House Judiciary whistleblower told Democrats that DOJ and BOP arranged, that's his initials, arranged this move after those interviews, and that Blanche left Maxwell repeat statements that were known to be false about Trump's presence in Epstein's world, including saying that she never saw him in an inappropriate setting and that Trump contributed nothing to Epstein's infamous 50th anniversary book. So they allow this woman to lie, and there you go. Representative Jamie Raskin wrote to Trump calling the transfer a plume placement that violated BOP policy on sex offenders, and questioned, give me 1 second here. Yes. All right. And questioned, this new concierge style perks and so on that she's now actually getting. So listen, it's just disgusting. And again, this is a man that you expect me to believe has nothing to hide and is as clean as a whistle himself. Then you don't engage in this type of thing. Let's talk about what else she gets, right? So no perimeter fences, visitors are allowed to bring laptops, privileges that other inmates don't get, cordon off visiting areas with snack and refreshments, customized meals. This sounds like a vacation place. Customized meals now being brought to her. My apologies. She's allegedly been escorted to the gym outside of normal hours for private workouts, and even allowed supervised puppy time with a service dog in training, despite rules barring inmates from petting the dogs. all of this treatment. They've called this place America's nicest prison, while Epstein victims and their families accuse the Trump administration of a cover-up and soft-pedaling a convicted trafficker. So yeah, let's talk about other people. Since you want to talk about other people, let's talk about what other people did. Somebody else, another administration, ensured that this woman got convicted. And now what? Now Trump comes in with his DOJ and they soften the impact of what she has to serve. And believe me, if he can do it, he's going to pardon her. He's just waiting for the dust to settle a little bit. This is who you look up to. Come on, El Rey. I expect better of you. I know you got a daughter, and this can't really be setting well. Gabby says he does not want her to spill the beans on him, meaning Maxwell. Another question, says Alfred Real, to assess whether you're prejudiced or not is, would I feel the same way about this person if they looked like me, loved like me, worshiped like me, or came from where I come from? Soka says it's his supporters who are deranged, though. Girl, you ever watch the show where the guy goes around saying, oh, I'm going to tell you certain things about Biden, and then, tell me what you think about that. And they'll say, oh, Biden said he was going to grab women by the pom-pom. Oh my God, that's horrible. He should be impeached. Who would do that? Da-da-da-da. And they go, oops. The guy goes, oh, I'm sorry. That was actually Trump that said that. These are MAGA people. That was actually Trump that said that. And then he's like, oh, well, it's okay if Trump says it. I've seen a few of them and I am shocked. That Kool-Aid is strong. That got some special something in it. Yeah. They'll be like, no, he should get, and then when he's like, oh, that's Trump. Oh, really? Or when they'll be like, comments that he's made about like Jewish people or the Holocaust or whatever. And they're like, oh, did you know, by the way, that, his daughter is like married to someone who's Jewish, or they throw this out, or, he says all this buffet, but yet he practices. Oh, really? His kids are Jewish? Like they're so confused. Ay. Adedio says birds of a feather flock together. What a hot mess. Mr. Dean, good morning. Mr. Dean says, Dean Shillette, 1 second here. Trying to get my mouse to participate. Let me put a piece of paper here. Yes, that looks like that's a bit better. Trying to get your comment up there, Mr. Dean. Trump isn't as dark as those that are protecting him. I don't know, honey child. Sandy, any news on the bad accident in East End? No fatalities. That's the best I can tell you. No fatalities. All right, here's a few interview clips you guys might find interesting around this discussion today. This one is the lady head of the DOJ being interviewed. There was lots of clips circulating around her response. I was flabbergasted. Like, her response to these questions were like, wow. But here's one sample.
Show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, You closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree with
mentioned
you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them.
Yeah, boy. So that's her go-to. Well, you know, somebody else should have been held accountable. Wow. They have stopped investigations, just like they're doing with all the ICE murders and stuff like that. They are purposely stopping investigations. Listen, if you have nothing to fear, this has always been my position, even with my own allegations. If you have nothing to fear, you know what I tell them every single time the DPP come into solutions? I say, see you behind in court. I'm ready because I can defend myself. See you in court any day of the week, 9 to 5. Right? These people, when they have something to fear, they shut it down. Have a look at this one.
I don't think it surprised me in the moment of the attack. I mean, the president has called me a lot of names. He's gone after me and tried to deflect from the questions that we're asking. But in that moment, you know, he is someone who is often politically savvy or tied in with what his base wants. In that moment, I was thinking, you know, if he had said that in response to a different question, I think it would have had a different reaction. I mean, I don't think any woman, I think a lot of women can identify with that moment and that feeling. Yes. But I think it was actually the question that is what generated so many headlines out of that, because my question was about sexual assault survivors, and it wasn't even accusatory of the president. It was what these women, many of whom I've interviewed and had on my show often, have said to me. And I don't think it's a controversial opinion that you shouldn't smile when you're asking questions about a sex trafficker and sexual assault victims.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
All right. So there you go. And by the way, thank you so much. The Prince Charles, King Charles now, my apologies, King Charles has now issued a statement. And the statement reads, I have learnt with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on the matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. Signed, Charles R. Royal Communications, issued today, Thursday, February the 19th. So thank you so much, really and truly, to the authorities for taking these complaints seriously. The ones who have not, you know, maybe you're going to get away with it on this earth. I'm not really too sure. But those of you who believe that there's more to life than the time that you will walk on this earth, you're not going to get away with it there. You will not get away with it. That's why Trump is so obsessed talking about he don't think he's going to get into heaven. Of course you're not getting into heaven. In what world do you do the type of things that you do and get into heaven? Only God knows, right? So stay tuned, folks. We'll continue to bring you, you know, any updates as they become available. Marshall says, any man who has girl children and supports Trump, how would they feel if he grabs them from their pum pum? I'll wait for an answer. Miss Sue says he's another Hitler in a different world with all of his henchmen. So many American people have to go to Mexico to have their teeth done. Did you see that video? It was so interesting indeed. But anyway, Alfred says Auntie Sandy never has to get ready. She stays ready. Who are you responding to? Oh my God. So El Rey still justifying, says him transferring Maxwell doesn't mean he has done anything wrong. It's possible it's being done for the benefit of his business associates. Yes, it's possible. What? What the fuck? El Rey, you're a smart man. There's no way that you can believe half the shit that's coming out of your mouth. Come on. It's just me and you now having a conversation. Tell me what you really think. How do you support this man? You must be lost the plot. I don't know. I'm wondering if they did something to you, honey child. Mr. Richard mentioned earlier, good morning, Sandy. I'm now home in Grenada with my dad, just saying hello. My birthday friend, August 18th. Oh, so nice to see you. Be safe. Nice that you can spend some time with your dad. Strong Will mentioned the rooster earlier in that phone call. Thankfully, the rooster, I don't have no chickens or roosters around me. So that was where he was, somewhere in Cayman, I guess. I have the beautiful, beautiful birds. Why do the roosters have to be so loud and quack, 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 quack? They sound the worst of all the birds out there. My God. It's like, what is wrong with them? No, sir. Anywho, folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm ending my shows on time because Auntie is still on vacation. This is my final day. So I got to go out there and enjoy it to the fullest. Gigi and I have been having an amazing time. And yeah, today's our last day. So we're going to go and enjoy it even more. And I'm going to be going to a beautiful restaurant for dinner with some friends this evening. So, you know, I've been eating good on vacation and I've been doing a lot of walking. Please remind me on Monday when I talk about my vacation, I want to talk to you guys about an update around my feet because I've got a bit of good news. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about all the stuff that I did on vacation. I got videos, I got pictures. We're going to have a really great time. All right. Strong Will says, El Rey's on something strong, boy. Trust me, they're not even Kool-Aid. They're like you're snorting something. Something going right to the brain. No digestion required. Lord Jesus. Let me sip one. All right, beautiful people. Be good. And I'll go and amend my story now and add that quote from the royal King Charles. Because, by the way, just a quick note before we leave the stream. I had more tutorials this week. And my professor gave me an A- on my last 2 tutorials. And he said to me, your writing is good. You know, I like how you open a lot of your stories. The structure is good. He talks about all the pausings that he likes. And he's like, oh, your grammar is always on point. No issues with grammar, punctuation. And he kind of said, unlike some other students during the course, I said, oh God, praise the Lord for Grammarly these days that catches a lot of her mistakes. But, you know, he said, yep, you're obviously spell checking and whatever. But he said, the one thing I need you to do more of is direct quotes in your stories. But I think what he doesn't understand, I said this to him in a couple pieces that he's like, why didn't you get a quote from the family in this? And I said, listen, if it's a Cayman story, Caymanians not going on record to say nothing. You can't get no quote from them, child. So I was like, yeah, I understand your point for sure. But I think you need to keep it in the context of how Cayman operates. And unfortunately, Cayman does not, Caymanian people and people living in the Cayman Islands, they'll tell you something off record, but they're not going to say too much on record. So it's hard to get quotes, you know? I'm explaining it to them. It's hard to get quotes. But anyway, Adedeyo, I don't even know what I'm saying, says, I'm proud of the UK for ousting Andrew. And on that note, applauding the UK government, his family. I know it would have been hard for his mother, especially because apparently he was her favorite son. He was the what it said, that the sparkle in her eye, the whatever in her eyeball, she really loved Andrew. She babied him a lot. He was said to be her favorite. And so I knew it was hard for her to even remove him while she was alive. And poor thing, I'm sure she's spinning in her grave as we speak to see that he would probably potentially even be going to court now, criminal court, and possibly even jail. But I say make the chips fall where they may, honey child. They should all be in jail as far as I'm concerned. Every single one of them, we got to send a strong message. And I don't care who they are. All right, good folks, have a beautiful Thursday. We will do a Friday show tomorrow, and then we'll back in the regular studio on Monday. So until then, be blessed and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.